So I talked to Soleil, you talked about her moving to the point, a little more responsibility, play her inside, but this is the first really big game. Her numbers looked good and she played, so what do you feel is, what's been different or her getting to this point, this game?
Well, she practiced this week,
Oh, she hasn't been practicing?
No, Soleil hasn't practiced
Okay.
at all. She plays in games and doesn't practice just because of the injury we were nursing. And so, credit Stacy and Yo, our trainer and strength and conditioning coach, for getting her back to a point where she's healthy enough to be able to practice. And you're playing a new position, first time doing that at this level, and you're not practicing. That's hard. And so hopefully she can continue to feel good where she can practice and get reps. And she just looked confident. She was very sure of herself. She made some calls tonight out there that were the right calls to make. And if she can continue to have that type of progression, I think we're going to continue to see her more comfortable in that role.
What's that injury or what is she dealing with? Can you say?
Some shin, some
Okay.
shin stuff.
And then obviously, man, you can't the wear line. I mean, what?
She was on triple double watch tonight, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what was in her? What was in her game?
She just looked really aggressive. She looked really aggressive on both ends of the floor. We needed her to protect the paint tonight, and she did. She rebounded the ball really well. Coming into this game, Texas Southern was the number 2 offensive rebounding team in the entire country. And so that was a huge concern from us, and we still gave them 14 chances at offensive rebounds. But Lauren just came out there with a mindset of like owning the glass, and I thought she did a really good job of putting herself in a position to get some easy baskets and to score when we needed her to.
So Lee mentioned kind of what you just touched on with her leadership out there as well. She felt like she was more of a leader tonight. How important is that, just to have her out on the floor and kind of take control the way she did?
It means everything when your point guard is the one who is dictating that, speaking that, telling people where to go. And, not to say that she hasn't tried in the past, but again, when you're not getting those reps, I'm not sure how confident she was in being able to tell people what to do and where to go. And so you could just see a difference in her. And so what do they say? When you look good, you feel good, you play good. And so she just looked really confident, which led to her having a really good floor game for our team and being able to score for herself as well.
What was the biggest difference in your eyes between the first and the second quarter to kind of extend that lead a little bit going into halftime?
I think we just settled in. It's been a while since we've played. I mean, you look at the first 6 trips leading into the media, we had wide open looks at the basket, wide open layups, and we were just rimming them out, missing them. I loved our pace, but we just weren't converting on those possessions. And I think we sat down and guarded them, got to the free throw line, and continued to get out and run when we could.
So your offense pretty productive today. I guess you touched on it. You feel that was just comfort getting out, or overall when you had so many people score and shoot over 50%?
Yeah, 50%, 80% from the free throw line, 30% from 3. It's a pretty good stat line for us overall. 6 players in double figures. I think we had 18 assists. We shared the ball really well. Part of that is because we were able to get out and run in transition and not just play in the half court. Texas Southern did a good job of mixing it up, going man zone. I thought we identified that and continued to attack and be aggressive. So as long as we can share the basketball, again, giving us time to just have together to practice and work on some things was huge for us this week.
I guess it wouldn't be a press conference moving forward if I didn't ask you how do you get rid of those turnovers, because I know that other teams' defense, and it just seems that's a bugaboo. Even when you're doing well everywhere else, you still have the turnovers.
We do. So I think we had 1 turnover tonight, and then we subbed and had 6. And so we've got to, with our different combinations we're playing, we've got to be better in sync in terms of what we're doing. A lot of them, 2 of them, were steals. The other ones were just us throwing it out of bounds, overthrowing people, not catching it. We've got to just value the basketball a ton more, especially when we sub and have different people in.
Kind of hard to believe this will be the last tune-up before the SEC. So, I know you want to win the game, but what are you looking for in this game? Will be the first time other than the men's practice team you're going against. So
right. I think for us in this last game Thursday, we've got to run our offense. We know the first option, maybe we know the second option, but we don't know the layers of it. All of us on the floor, and that's where we've got to get to, because when we get into games in the future, we're going to have to get into like option C and D in our offense. And I'm not sure right now we can do that consistently enough as we need to. And so the discipline to be able to run, get it out. But if we don't have anything in transition, run our offense and run it past the first or second option would be something that we really need to hone in on in these last couple of days of practice and in this last game.
It is also a fan appreciation game, so totally free.
And one last thing, how about your defense? And at times they looked in sync, but then sometimes it looked, maybe that's because of your substitutions, looked like one or two people weren't doing what, is that right?
We're not checked up. Two people guarding the same man. Sometimes we're not guarding anybody at all. And there are times we looked really elite defensively. We've got to just find that consistency, especially when we sub in. We can't assume that people know what we're doing. We can't assume that we know the matchup. It's an easy communication thing. I'm subbing in for you. Who are you guarding? Right? And we just aren't, we're not always doing that and connecting the way that we should.